Now, we've been here probably about the same length of time as you have. I have heard a total of 3 booms, that initial boom, and then I heard 3 less large booms, but booms nonetheless. Have you heard the same thing?
Yes, I did. Smaller explosions. Maybe it's inside the building, some gas lines exploding or something. I don't know. But we heard the other explosions. I don't see any other smoke anywhere, so I suppose it's from inside the building.
Okay, Isabel James, thank you very much for joining us.
CNN has been told that an American Airlines 767 jet was hijacked out of Boston today. We don't know which of those 2 planes hit the tower the second time. In the last 10 minutes or so, the South Tower, or at least a portion of the South Tower, has collapsed.
I don't know if you've seen this, Jim. This is, all right, we are looking once again earlier.
This is about the point where I, too, tuned in to News Channel 4.
If you look up in your right-hand side, you will see an aircraft coming into the picture. It'll be there any moment.
Right there.
There it is. Now watch this.
I'll actually dip behind the first building. And there it is.
And as we warned you, the whole business of responsibility, claiming of and naming responsibility would be complicated. And now we've, from the Middle East, a senior official from the Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine has denied any involvement, any connection to a double plane crash on the World Trade Center. It was, in fact, earlier on an anonymous caller who had called Abu Dhabi Television to say that the DFLP was responsible. So for today, we'll put aside as best we can trying to understand who did it, just knowing somebody who did it.
David Ensor joins us from Washington. David, where in the Capitol are you now?
Well, Aaron, I'm in our bureau, but I have on the telephone with me Barbara, who is the wife of a friend of mine and who is an eyewitness to exactly what happened at the Pentagon. Barbara, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, what exactly did you see? Let's look at the Pentagon now as you describe what exactly happened at the Pentagon this morning.
As we were driving into town on 395, there was an exit. We were trying to get off the exit for the Memorial Bridge. Off to the left-hand side was a commercial plane that came in and was coming too fast and too low. And the next thing we saw was it go down below the side of the road, and we just saw the fire that came up after that.
How large was the explosion?
It was large.
Was there sound as well?
That I can't verify because the windows were up in the vehicle.
So, Melissa, what you're telling us is that you have not seen the number of people that you might expect to be there after an explosion of this magnitude.
That's right. I've only been here for about, I would say, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but we've seen a couple of ambulances come in. As I said, after that last explosion, I saw some more ambulances race out of here and head down 7th Avenue. But they're obviously preparing for people to be brought here on full alert. They have, as I said, dozens of nurses, nurses' aides out on the street outside the ER on 7th Avenue and 12th Street, stretchers lined up on the street. They're just waiting for people to be coming in, obviously, in need of treatment.
So you came down from the 77th floor.
77th floor, down the stairs.
Down the stairs.
Yes.
What was happening around you? People screaming?
No, people were pretty calm. When we got down to 6th floor, there was like another shake or another explosion. Everyone started panicking, but everybody was really calm, and the police and firemen were very helpful.
How big was the fireball?
I'm spatially challenged at times, and it was pretty big.
And we're looking right now, Melissa, at some tape that we saw earlier of a woman being taken for medical treatment. It did appear that she had some burns. This is some very...
And we are told that there have been some patients brought here. They probably arrived before I got here. We don't have numbers. We're waiting for a briefing from the hospital. The public relations person from St. Vincent's Hospital did come downstairs and alert the members of the press who are here.
Which of the 2 towers were you in?
One. Trade Center 1.
All right. And when you got to the ground, then what?
It's just like, it's like rubble and dust, like inches thick, and like paper everywhere, and they just moved us out.
How many people do you think were in the building on the floors that were affected? What do you
I
think?
couldn't say. I mean, I'm one office out of 20 on that floor, so I have no idea.
How far above you or below you was the impact?
I think it was above us. I don't know how many floors. We saw it on TV, but I don't know.
Melissa, we would assume that what you are seeing in the way of preparedness at St. Vincent's is being repeated at hospitals throughout Manhattan this
I would
morning.
imagine it is. I mean, you can only think the worst in this kind of situation. Obviously, hope for the best, but there's certainly, I'm sort of surprised that we're not seeing more ambulances arriving.
Peter, big concern now from the scene that the Northwest Tower, the one remaining standing, is leaning and buckling in the northwest corner. They're moving back the mobilization areas, and they're cordoning off the area in a much wider zone now, because obviously they are now concerned about the possibility of a second collapse.
Okay, there are also now unconfirmed reports of anonymous planes in Virginia, right around the airspace of Virginia. So they're focusing their attention now on that as well.
You're hearing some sirens behind me. Those are some additional police vehicles heading down 7th Avenue right now.
Melissa?
Yes.
If I could interrupt you for a second, there's an urgent on the wire that something has happened at the State Department. A source says, we don't know yet, we hear it might have been a plane, so there's a possibility now that a plane may have slammed into the State Department in the nation's capital.
What is really shocking is that we're being told that these were hijacked planes.
Just thinking about the loss of life on the
On
planes
the planes
alone.
Exactly. Kamikaze hijackers who took the lives of not only themselves, but all the innocent people along with them, both in the buildings and in those planes.
Again, the words of Kai Simonson, who is up in the air in Chapter 5. He was up in the air with his camera focused on the building when the second plane rammed into the World Trade Center, and it must have been quite a sight for him and quite an experience.
I can see the sky. I know you had talked about possibly another plane from somewhere coming. I have a vista almost 180 degrees here across the horizon, and I can see not one single solitary plane.
Good.
The only thing I can see are those helicopters I talked to you about. The one helicopter has landed, it looks like to me, at Washington Hospital Center.
All right.
Their role right now was pushing people back. They were very much in a mode where they were trying to get people back from the scene. And the seconds before the explosion happened, there was another renewed kind of interest in really getting people away. Because of course, out of curiosity, everyone's trying to get close, everyone's trying to get pictures of the World Trade Center on fire. They started screaming, get back, there's another explosion happening. I guess they were being warned on their radios that the top was going to come down since it was burning for the better part of half an hour. As they screamed to get people back, they started screaming, leave Manhattan if possible, everybody leave Manhattan if possible.
But we were just driving by, just happened to be in the same location as the Pentagon, when all of a sudden there was this big boom. It was quite sudden, it was quite loud, there was a fireball. We couldn't actually see the Pentagon itself when the explosion occurred because we were up on the highway. We saw the cloud of smoke and the fireball rise above the freeway, and we knew what direction it was coming from. We knew it was in the vicinity of the Pentagon, and that's when we arrived here on the scene. Should say that as soon as we got here, there were flames again on the south side of the Pentagon, and a short time later, I would say, we heard, and these are approximate times, we heard roughly 10 minutes later a smaller explosion.
We have on the phone now Daryl Jenkins. Mr. Jenkins, you're an airline security expert with what organization?
Washington University Aviation Institute.
All right, sir. You've seen what's happened this morning. Give me your read.
Well, our lives will never be the same again. This will change everything we do in this city and everywhere else around here. This is the day that we will all remember until we die now. I can't even imagine anything more worse than what's going on right now. The terror is just unspeakable.
Basically what we probably have, Mr. Jenkins, is what, 3 hijackings and then the terrorists plowing to the World Trade Center and the Pentagon?
That's correct.
Didn't see anything unusual. The building was already on fire and was already smoking, so I don't know whether it was perhaps a gas line inside the building or something else entirely. But we have, since the initial explosion, have heard 2 smaller explosions, but we just don't have the information about what exactly happened there. But you just heard from the eyewitness. In fact, she's the second person that I have talked to who says that they saw a plane actually slam into the side of the Pentagon. And of course, in light of what happened in New York this morning, certainly is an interesting turn of events.
Gary Reels is at National Airport by phone. Gary, what's going on there?
Well, Andrea, it is, I hate to use a cliche, but it is truly a scene out of a movie here.
You can see there appears to be, I don't know, John, can you see there's a military, some military personnel up here on the ridge. This ridge right here, a lot of people have been coming out of the annex, and a lot of cars have been stopping on the highway, and people have been getting out of their cars, and they've been up on this ridge because you get a pretty good view of what's going on. And you can see that the military personnel are now telling them to get off the ridge, and they're going to be clearing out the area. We're going to try to stay here to keep you on top of what's going on and what we can see from our vantage point, but we'll have to wait and see what the military tells us to do.
I'm out here at St. Vincent's, and we've got a doctor right here. He is just called in. Initially, you said that there were hundreds of doctors that have called in. You said now you're really worried about all of the smoke inhalation. That's going to be a big problem with the second building going down.
Right. Well, basically, even with the first building, that most of the damage is people inhaling smoke, and smoke inhalation problems, getting oxygen, obviously, to their body. I'm an orthopedic doctor, so it's been kind of only 1 or 2 patients have come in so far. But I think the biggest problem is evacuating people from the scene and bringing them into the hospital.
And we're expecting a chopper about right here with some of the injured.
Yeah, that's the way here.
It appears it might have been an American Airlines flight that was leaving Boston heading to Los Angeles. We're still making...
one witness described that as a gray plane on top, and that would be American Airlines.
Exactly.
Now, what did you tell me? You're urging people to donate blood. That's very important right now.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're told that we're not... Thank you very much. All right, we'll keep you live. We'll keep you posted here at St. Vincent's Hospital. We're going to have hundreds of people expected here. And doctors say right now there are about 50 to 100 in critical condition here at St. Vincent's. Reporting live, Whitney Casey.
Whitney, you're telling us now the doctors are saying there are about 50 to 100 people who are in critical condition at St. Vincent's right now.
Yes, that's right. I hear, we just heard from a doctor, it's unconfirmed from anyone at St. Vincent's, but the doctor did just tell me that right now they have 50 to 100 in critical condition, but they're really worried about the smoke inhalation. They said that thousands of people they expect to be affected by this smoke inhalation in and around the World Trade Center because of that second building falling in.
All right, Whitney, thanks very much. Folks, clearly America is under attack. We can only hope that it's over, at least for now.
Let's go outdoors now to
Joe Abelar.
Joe Abelar, because he is on the scene in Lower Manhattan.
Well, what we're standing here is we're in Soho. We're at the corner of Prince and Worcester Street, and what we're seeing is a lot of what's happening around Manhattan right now, in Lower Manhattan. People were in that area, and they ran as far as they could, as fast as they could. I've got a group of people right here. They were all in offices right close to the World Trade Center. Is that correct, sir?
That's right. Right across the street at 130 Liberty Street.
You heard the explosion, and then what did you do?
We heard the explosion, and we didn't know if it was a earthquake or whatever, and they came on the PA system and said it was a bomb, but then we heard it was a plane. So then we went back upstairs because we thought everything was okay, and then we actually didn't see the second plane, but we saw the explosion hit the other tower, and planes just came flying towards us.
Reporting.
One second. The State Department has just been evacuated. After a possible explosion or a fire, a senior government official speaking on the condition of anonymity said the incident appears connected with the 2 plane attacks at the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. According to this source, quoting now, something has happened at the State Department. We don't know what yet. We hear it might have been a plane.